Well, it was very delightful working together again, I must say, and it was very quite emotional, I think, for a return to the old hunting ground. But we were all well, Linda and I, particularly, and Stephanie, were so pleased with the location hadn't changed, but also the people were so welcoming and so nice and polite. It was lovely that a lot of people came out to see us filming, and yet they were all, you know, very, very well behaved and nice, and so it was very rewarding from that point of view.
We were thrilled to see us. When it was first announced, you'd have thought somebody had invented the wheel. There was so much costume. It's quite a responsibility.
Yeah, it was.
But the love and affection is still there. It's astounding. And it was weird to see the street hadn't changed at all, apart from a few windows that had leaded additions, you know, smarter. But all the locals going, hello, love, you know, you've not changed. You know, really? I think we have.
Did you, Benji Wilson from the Telegraph, did you have any misgivings or trepidation about going back to something that is so fondly remembered?
Who's that directed to?
David, to you.
Not him.
Not me.
Yeah.
I'm safe up to now.
Yeah, keep your head down. Yes, I think so. It was a homage to Ronnie Barker when we decided to do it, and it was one felt quite a responsibility to try and ensure that it would be as entertaining as Ronnie made it. So we haven't done the recording yet. That was only obviously the filming, but nevertheless, it was a bit a step back in time, wasn't it? Because the shop was, well, as Linda said, it was exactly the same. The whole street and everything hasn't changed. But when we got the shop with all the props in it and outside and the little bits of dialogue, it was stepping back in time.
Yes, it was. So it was quite upsetting for a second as you walked in the shop and thought, oh, you know, it was weird. It was a very strange feeling. Very strange feeling. But, and I did think about doing it. Was it a good idea to, you know, because it was so loved. But then as soon as Roy Clark's written it, and it's just still open all hours. Those people have just carried on talking, you know. The Black Widow's she's been polishing the same furniture with the same plastic flowers in the window, and Wavy Mavis has never made her mind up about anything, you know. So it is still open all hours. It's not open all hours. It's where they've gone. You know, we were young and foolish, and now we're old and daft.
You speak for yourself.
Can I just follow on from that, Tim Oglethorpe, freelance? Did you feel Ronnie Barker's influence while you were filming this? Did you feel his, it's fanciful to suggest his presence was there, but did you feel as if he was sort of looking over the production?
Yeah, I think we did. There was one photograph in particular that they took, a set of photographs, and it's a photograph of me standing in the shop doorway, and we saw it on the computer, and for a second everybody said when they first looked at it, they thought it was Ronnie.
Yeah.
It had that sort of, because he was so identifiable with it, I suppose, and I wear the same sort of gear that he wore. But for a minute, it's like, God, the old man's back. He's come back. So, as Linda said, I must say that when we started work, it was as if it was only a couple of weeks ago that we were there with Ronnie. That time had so shrunk into just like, as I said, a few weeks maybe, and we were back in the shop. Yeah.
But I think down the same potholes.
Yeah, I think that one of the reasons is, as Linda pointed out, she was quite right, but Roy Clark has, when he originally wrote Open All Hours, he wrote in a very whimsical manner. He's got a wonderful style, and that style hasn't changed. And so when he invented all of these strange people in this strange world that we have come back to recreate. It's made it easy. That's what the jump back in time was, because all of these people with the silly discussions they have is the same, because we got the same writer, and he's done that's what made it as well, I think, that leap back in time, as though the time has we've never gone away, if you like. It's because the writing is so strong. It's wonderful.
Nadia from The Sun. So I just wondered, was there moments where you thought, oh, you know, as if like Ronnie would just walk in?
Yeah, I think there would always be that. There always will be.
Not while you're actually working, you don't, otherwise you're going to screw it all up. But because his presence was so marvellous, it's still there because he varnished that. So that varnish, that history, is still there. So,
Yeah.
and the fact that his influence over his nephew, so-called nephew, who knows?
The
His
Hungarian.
nephew, his Hungarian nephew, was such that he started turning into him. You know, just tight as your old man, you know, dreadful infant, you know. And then you see it again with the young boy who's now working in the shop. You think he's going on forever, you know. But we didn't think of Ronnie as we were filming that particular second.
Hi, Simon Cable from The Mail. Have you tried to adapt it to a modern audience in any way, or are you conscious about trying to keep it traditional in the sense of how it was?
Why is the audience modern?
Well,
It's the
because
same audience. A bit older, isn't it?
well, I mean, you know, there's
There's a few youngsters coming up.
things like Monty Python coming back. There's obviously a demand for sort of vintage comedy, but have
I
you
don't know.
tried to?
I don't know.
No, I
don't
can't
think so.
see that. I
No.
think you don't analyse it that way. What you do is that you see we work within the script that we're given. What we are attracted to it, we are attracted to because it's just very funny, very enjoyable. The mere fact that so much time has gone by,
Incidental, really.
and are you talking about this audience, that audience? Are you aiming at? No, we're aiming at an audience. And you have to remember that Open All Hours has been repeated time and time again. So you have got a new audience, or a generation rather than a new audience, that have been watching it for all these years. So you've got generations now that understand Open All Hours. So
Yeah.
they're all out there for us to entertain.
You know, when I kind of, as soon as I said that I was doing it, every one of my friends who were my age knew exactly what the show was and what it was about, and you know, I used to watch it, so it's sort of, I feel like a timeless show. So you can't really I don't think you can pigeonhole an audience.
I don't think that the general public woke up one morning and thought, oh, we'll be modern now. I think they're just the same.
But I do think comic sensibilities change over time, because
Swearing, yeah, there's swearing.
well, that would be one, but other types of comedies change how people receive comedy. So I think it's probably a fair question to say whether
Yeah.
Oh,
the audience will
absolutely, fair.
find it as funny as people used to. One doesn't know.
What I would just add to that is, I think because we've got Leroy as well, there is a sense that this is a world that goes on. So it's not just, you know, one generation. It's a continuity.
Yeah.
So that world of Arkwright Shop, you know, carries on going, you know, moving down the generations.
Going on from that, how does Granville like having Leroy around, and is he a chip off the old block, from the vet phrase?
Well, that's a very good question. I have to be very careful here. I think that it's really nice to. It's the same. We're having a similar relationship that Ronnie and I had, and he's treated exactly the same way I was treated as Granville. So it's a pecking order. I'm the top and he's the bottom. That's all there is to it. No, it's great. It's great fun. But you need someone to have a foil, and it happens that the writer decided to carry on the regime of the new boy on the block with Granville. It's sort of Arkwright and Granville, and it's now Granville and Leroy as we go. So the one thing about it that very similar is we do not know quite his hereditary, which is a bit like Granville was, but is a different relationship. But there is a question mark over where he's come from, which he constantly irritates him slightly. He's been brought up by all the women in the neighbourhood. Basically, they all mother him, and it's all they care for him because they sort of brought him up. But no, the relationship is roughly the same, and so he should be treated like I was treated. Back. Yes.
Because it's such a classic, is there a worry that bringing it back will do it a disservice by not doing the same? I know you've got the same writer and everything, but was that a worry for you when the idea was posited at all?
Not once I read the script, no. But I know what you mean. You don't want to spoil the memory of something.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not worried about it now.
No, I agree with Linda.
Also, people want to see it, so
Yeah, we've had such a
overwhelmed by the
positive response to it that we would just do the best we can. As I say, the dialogue, the script is written by a master, and who could fail to rise to the challenge? Yeah, listen, we don't know, we can't guarantee how it's going to be received. We hope that it'll be received by the way that we are giving it, if you like. So yeah, well, it doesn't. We would like it to be as happy and successful. That's our commitment, was to make people
smile on Christmas Day.
Yeah, that's the rationale really. At the bottom line is that we're out to entertain, and we felt, and I think the BBC felt, there was just like, if you like, a gap in the market for family viewing, and that's why this was aimed at the Christmas period. I don't know whether it's Christmas Day. I think that only the hierarchy of the BBC can tell you that. But it's over that Christmas period, and that is what, I suppose, what we all wanted. That we just want to get out there and make them enjoy these silly characters that we've all got, and we all are. Good fun. We enjoyed it, except you. We don't know whether you're any good. We were waiting for the audience.
Trying to work,
We'll
sharp
they'll all be tweeting, you know, on the Christmas Day. I thought it was brilliant. Didn't like the boy. That'd be just mine.
Just a series of text messages. You were terrible, mate. You need to up your game. God.
Yeah. So don't get upset. But
I won't. I'm thick-skinned.
Well, you'll have to be, won't you?
Is there anything festive? Sorry, is there anything festive about the episode, or is it just
Only us.
going out just yet?
Only us coming back. No.
Incidentally,
Yes.
it's not a Christmas thing, but
No.
incidentally, Christmas is mentioned at some point.
Is it?
Yes, I'm not telling you when I give the plot away.
Okay, sorry. No,
Christmas is mentioned, but it isn't about Christmas, is it?
Hi, can I sorry, Susan from Press Association. Can I ask, we've seen some photos of you on a bike.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, right, yeah.
You were doing your own stunts. Can you tell us a bit about
I always
that?
do my own stunts, you know.
What was it
Yes.
like? That scene was so iconic from back in the day. I imagine.
Strangely enough, that bike was a pain in the butt, more ways than one. Because the gears hadn't been sorted out properly, and it was quite difficult to ride, but it was wonderful to see it again. What we're just trying to do is to try to get the new boy on the block interested in, he wants a motorbike or a van or some modern contraption to do his deliveries. And what's good enough for me is going to be good enough for him. So you better learn how to get right about it.
Well, don't worry. We'll have to get some stabilisers or something.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good idea. What do we think of that? We'll get the
coffee
stabilisers out. Yeah.
So
no, it wasn't a problem, but it was lovely to see the bike again, as I spent so much time on it. It was It's a lovely old prop. Again, one of those things that this is, I think, epitomises the story or the shop, is that the character, like Arkwright, was so locked into the past and cheapness that if you want to deliver goods, the cheapest way would be on a bike or walk. So that's why he's trying to sell the idea of the bike, how wonderful it was and how nostalgic. There's a lot of old rubbish, really. It's just cheapness. So, in effect, what I'm doing with the bike, I'm selling the idea that Arkwright sold to me, which is it's wonderful. It's traditional, just like Harrods, you know, elegance and style and all of this. And I'm not sure whether we get through with it at the moment, but we shall see.
You also forgot it was up and down hill, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You've forgotten that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did feel for you that day. That was tough.
Yeah, a lot of hills in Doncaster.
Yeah.
So has he picked up his uncle's cheapness, and does he still have the same till? Is the till still in?
Well, you see, you couldn't, you're giving away the plot here, but I have said it before, we couldn't do Open All Hours without the till. I mean, everybody, for some reason, it's one of those things that everybody loves that till, doesn't it? It's because it had a mind of its own, I suppose. It was one of those amusing little props that people sort of were waiting for the till to grab it. So, yeah, the till's there.
One of
Lovely.
the first things my dad said, "Do you get to use the till? Do you get to use the till?" Yeah.
If we didn't have the till, the number
Yeah.
of letters you'd have to do. Yeah, I'm sorry, but there wasn't room in the script to have the till. Yes, I know you're disappointed, but we would have been inundated, wouldn't we, really?
Is it a show that you've rewatched in the years in between like 1985, so when you reprised it?
Yeah, somebody bought me the box set for Christmas.
Which Christmas?
Oh, about 5 years ago. Why would you buy me the box set?
Well, maybe you hadn't been in it, or you hadn't
I'm gonna have
seen
to
it.
take all my Christmas gifts back for you. No,
Yeah, I watched it occasionally. Yeah, I was surprised how young we all were. That would try
Well,
and-
so would you have been? So would you all have been 10,
Yeah.
25, 35
If you say
years
you
ago?
weren't born, you get smacked.
Yeah. Don't get to answer any more questions.
Yes, that's a weird thing to look back and see all these people, and then think what's happened to us between then and now. It's a lot, isn't it? You know, 30 years of your life, a lot goes on.
Could I ask if you ever thought about having it brought back before now?
Me? No, because I've been already locked into so many other things, sort of one after the other, with After Fools and Darling Buds of May and Frost.
Everything.
And virtually the whole thing.
Yes, I know.
Yes. Yow. No, it didn't. What happened was that a couple of years ago I had lunch with the head of comedy at the BBC, and we were talking about, he was thinking about it would be nice to have something for me to do for come back to the BBC. And during the course of the conversation, I just happened to say, one of the things that always mystified me as we were talking generally was, I wonder whatever happened to Granville. So he said, "Why, what do you mean?" And I said, "Well, you know, we finished and the shop, we just didn't do it anymore. And then, bless him, poor Ronnie died, and that meant that Arkwright died specifically. So what happened to Granville?" And so he said, "That's an interesting thought. I wonder what did happen to Granville." And from that, the wheels started to turn, and we started to discuss it. And when I approached Roy Clark, he said, "Yeah, funny enough," he said, "for years I've often wondered what happened to Granville." And he was so excited about the prospect that he just put pen to paper straight away. He did. And here we are. That's sort of roughly how it happened. It was, we had to convince the BBC that it was a good idea, because BBC is made up of a very complex people, units. So it wasn't just simply, oh yes, we'll commission that, oh yes. No, I had to go through quite a lot of process, I think, to convince people that, I think they did a lot of research then, and when there was an awful lot of people that thought it was a good idea outside the BBC, like the general viewing public.
What were their reservations about it?
I don't know, they didn't tell me. Nobody gives you those top secret information. That's the hierarchy. That's not for us, the hired hands, to be brought into those conversations. But I think that ever since it was mentioned, there was such a strong reaction from the public that I think that helped to influence the decision to actually go ahead and make it. Because, yeah, you are talking about something that had its life many years ago, and you might be talking about it was an animal of its time, you might say that, and you are allowed to say it, even if you are a fool. But it's another story. The general thought was that once we read the script, it's like, it's funny, it's amusing, it's lovely. It doesn't matter when it was, when it was written. I mean, you still laugh at I do. Laurel and Hardy and people like that. The classic comedy is classic comedy, and it will go on for years. It will reinvent itself. So the basic British humour is one that I think is eternal. It moves. Today it's got quite modern, and it's driven by comics, basically, which is a different way they're leaning. It leans more towards stand-up than plot-driven.
Fashionable.
Yeah.
Things become fashionable,
Yeah.
and then they're not, and then they are, and then they're not.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that the pendulum has swung into... because stand-up comics have a tremendous influence because they are funny and they command a tremendous audience. And so that I think the hierarchy at television have said, wait a minute, these people are commanding such an audience, we
In
should...
great stadiums and things.
Yeah.
So do you think Open All Hours would get commissioned today, given if it was a new idea, given it doesn't have a stand-up comic behind it or on it?
That's a very good question. We don't know. I don't know.
It's very difficult. Nobody's ever found what the method of writing a hit show, whether it's in the theatre or on television. You can't tell. You think, right, this is the best writer, these are the best actors, this is the best studio, the best director, go. And it can be terrible. Or you can have something you think maybe, and it'll take off and fly. You can't measure it. It's not an exact science.
London Weekend did try it once, years ago. I can't remember the name of it, but I remember I was around doing something for London Weekend at the time. What they did was they put into a computer, if you like, it was a sort of computerised, and they said, what is the funniest things? What makes people laugh? They said sausages. So they put in sausages, and then they put in who are the funniest people about the time that people like, and it was like someone like Jimmy Jewell and Thora Hird or somebody. And then they put in where would it be, what is a funny place? A funny place is a butcher shop or a supermarket or whatever. And they put all of these elements into the computer, and out turned a sausage factory containing these people, which was, I think it was Jimmy Jewell or whatever, and they actually made it. And it went, it just died to death because it was so formulaic that it was guaranteed to entertain everybody, entertained no one, because it just didn't have, it was a computer trying to, so even computers can't get it right, so if they can't get it right, I'm sure we have trouble.
No, because in the end it's down to the general public, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can say this is the best thing you're going to see the entire year. You're all going to enjoy it. And it goes on, the public go, no, we're not. We don't like what we're going to watch. And they switch to something else. You can't make the public have something, I don't think.
Speaking of comics, does Johnny Vegas have a role in this episode?
Oh yes, yes.
He did turn up.
He turned up, yeah.
Wandering about.
Is that who it was?
Yes.
Oh, he did say something, I seem to remember. Yeah. I thought he was one of those little vagrants, and I told him to get on his way. Yes, he does, and he's very good, he's very funny, he's very good. But he only just did a little tiny piece because that's all that his character was in the filming. But his character has a lot more to do when we do the actual episode. He's very funny. I wish I could say the same for you. It's such a shame. I told you we cast him wrong.
There's producers over there.
No, I've got his other.
It's not too late to.
No.
Don't worry, I'm on your side.
No. Yes, but this is only a sort of pilot, and when we do the 101st show.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
On that note, if it does do well at the Christmas, would you consider?
Consider is the right word.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all to do with the finances. It's folding money. Yeah, I think, of course you would. If it was deemed that the people wanted it, the audience wanted it, I'm sure everybody would want to, even the BBC would want to service the audience. Because after all, they're the most important people at the end of the day. Of course, it's numbers that are quite important. But numbers are more important for independent companies than they are really for the BBC. Really, BBC's more for, I suppose, should be more for quality. But we all know that we're living in a world of, competition, huge competition in television, particularly. You only have to, I don't know, someone tell me how many channels are there? Is it 60 or something?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
There's 207 on one of mine.
Is it?
Somewhere, yeah. They go on forever.
They do.
Yes.
The 269th has got about 1.5 people watching it.
By accident.
By accident, as they flick through
Yes.
to find open all hours.
Yes.
Where is it, for God's sake?
Are there any of your other programmes, David, that you could envisage ever being revived? Obviously some probably wouldn't be, but the Darling Buds may never reach the end of the line in terms of stories written for that particular character.
God, well, it depends on the script, really. Scripts. Whoever writes a good script, I'm sure somebody would want to do it. I think the one I would say is that script writers are so underrated in this country. We've got to remember that without a good script, the rest of us are, just actors dumbing their way through some bit of dross. The good writers, let's face it, how many people remember that John Sullivan who wrote Fools and Horses? I think it was Nick Lyndhurst said that, and it was absolutely right, said that John makes the ammunition, we just fire the bullets.
Yeah.
So I think that we would say we're in the same boat. We've got someone who is a wonderful writer, and we're out there interpreting his gift. And here's what, people like Roy Clark are the unsung heroes of British comedy in particular. Some of the writers who wrote Frost, you would never remember them, but these are the people that give you, when they're good, such fantastic entertainment. We all know John Sullivan because he's been so well, his material is so well publicised and related to John Sullivan. But some of the others, and we're talking particularly now, that I think some people go, oh, Roy Clark, yes, didn't he do whatever, but my point being, to reflect what you were saying, without somebody writing a script that we can pick up and go, oh yeah, I love that, I'd love to do that, you're a lost cause.
Does that mean without John Sullivan, there's no way you could do any more Fools in your mind?
Yeah, I don't think there's no one that can write like John Sullivan. He was the one-off. Not that I've ever seen anything of anybody else. No one has attempted to write, as far as I'm concerned, as a Fools and Horses script. But Christ, it'd be
a big task.
Be a very big ask. Yeah.
Shoes to fill.
Yeah. I think that's what you'd be. People in your industry would be so fast to shoot them down in flames that you wouldn't stand much of a chance. what we're doing with this is that we just know we've got a big following. It doesn't mean to say that we're guaranteed to get it right, but we're going to give it a bloody good shot.
Has Granville grown any more confidence with the opposite sex? Is he a little bit more wise now? He's older he is.
I'm not going to give the game away. No. It's forever, as it was in the original, and as it is now, is the wonderful battle of the sexes, and it still goes on. It's going on. It goes on all the time, everywhere, as we all know. And in the open all hours, it's just a little bizarre, isn't it?
They all miss like that, don't they?
Yeah.
They're in a fog and miss one another
Yes.
all the time. They never get any closer.
No, it's just wonderful postcard stuff, and I can't tell you what happens because they'll be giving the game away. But rest assured, there's a tremendous, wonderful postcard type British humour of the battle of the sexes. It's the women as well as the men.
Yeah, on a real level, the way ordinary people's lives. Their romance isn't filled with, glitter and it's ordinary, and they're maybe not very good at meeting people and, and quite amusing. They get themselves in scrapes. It's like ordinary people, really.
I think that Linda's right. That's a very good observation, that so much of what we see about relationships is either very glamorous and exciting, or it's like EastEnders, very full of anger and angst. Somewhere in the middle are all us, real people, who have, little bits of a mixture of the whole scheme of life. Some bits is good and funny, some is hard, some angry, some bits. It's real. Everybody has real. I won't say romance, but a real relationship with, if you're a woman with a man with a woman. And a lot of it is wonderfully British and unsaid and unstated. And they
hit and miss, really.
What?
Bit hit and miss.
Bit hit and miss, yes. There's one miss you should know.
Yes.
You talked about the BBC thinking there was a gap in the market for family comedy at Christmas, but what for you defines Christmas television, and is there anything this year, apart from Open All Hours, you're particularly looking forward to, or what will you be watching on Christmas Day?
The Queen!
Queen. Yes, God bless her. I think we all ought to stand and say the Queen.
I haven't brought a Radio Times, I don't know what's on.
No, I don't.
I'm from the Radio Times, so...
Oh, you tell us then.
I'm from the TV
Strictly,
Times.
Downton, all the big specials, really.
I'll be working my way through a plethora of meats. and then slipping into a food coma, obviously watching.
We'll just wake up just for that, will you? And then go back to sleep, or get into another bottle of wine.
Exactly.
No, I don't know. For me, I always like to. We like to spend time with seeing what my daughter wants to watch. Really, she's the bloody one with the controls. Oh, I want to watch that. I want to. All right, okay.
Yeah, I've got a little sister, so she'll definitely take the control.
It needs to be something that everybody can watch, because most households, Granny will be there, or silly auntie, somebody who's drunk a bottle of sherry, falling off the chair. So it needs to be something everybody can watch, really.
I think you're right, and I think it's one of the driving forces with us, and what the BBC perhaps got into, wanted at least one programme where you could know that you can sit and watch it with your 2-year-old and your 92-year-old and anybody in the middle, and you'll get something out of it. But one of the things that you know that you will get is you're safe. That you won't get, unfortunately, from our point of view, graphic sex, graphic language, people rude or ugly to each other. Unfortunately, you'll have to go to another channel. So, it is what it is. It's a great, wonderful family piece of nonsense, lovely, just safe. It's good old. Well, it's Open All Hours.
Yeah,
Isn't it? As it was.
still open.
Still open.
Still open.
Is there a sense in this one of Granville trying to avoid becoming like Arkwright, or has he sort of accepted that this is his destiny to end up in the coat? And
After that plot, isn't he?
Yes, he's after the yeah, thank you, Linda. I nearly fell in the trap there. No, it's all that really happens is that he's been so trained by Arkwright, Granville, that he's adopted all of the ways to run the shop. I mean, it's a wonderful idea that somewhere still in the middle of the wilds of the north is this little group of people desperate to survive the supermarket, the Argos, the internet, all of the things. And she's still coming in for a pint of milk and a loaf of bread. You're never gonna make a fortune out of people like her, are you? But it's also got that quality of community. It's not just about making money and survival, though that is very important. It does this wonderful social thing. They come into the shop to have a little natter and pass the time, and pick up a pint of milk, and then off they go. A little gossip about Mrs. So-and-so up the road. It's a very social thing that you don't get that in the supermarket.
No, you don't. Not in those giants. No, you don't.
So we're doing a good turn, aren't we? Yeah.
There was an old man who used to come in for a box of matches every morning in the old filming days. He'd come in every morning for a box of matches. So the crew used to give him a box of matches every morning. I think he's been going in the hairdressers ever since, asking for a box of matches.
Yeah.
Does Leroy have some ideas about maybe bringing the business up to date and kind of modernising and?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, it's not kind of overplayed, but it's definitely there. I think he just knows that he's not the boss, regardless of what he thinks. His dad's always going to get one over on him. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I suppose there's definitely that sort of underlying thing. Yeah.
Not quite glamorous enough for you, is it? Either, really.
No.
But he's very successful with the...
Leroy, not me.
So you have to watch it if you want to find out the secrets. No secrets.
We're not telling you.
No, we're not telling you. You're trying to prize it all out of us. You'll be printing the whole story next, and then nobody will want to watch it, will they?
Just us.
Talked about the bike. Do you know where that was all these years? And were you surprised that any of the old props had been kept?
The gentleman over there will be able to tell us on that one. Where did you get that bike from?
Prop house in Newcastle, I think.
You got it from Newcastle?
I think so, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, aye, didn't you know?
We're good for something.
Work and a bit of recreating as well, you know.
But it wasn't the original, was it?
Not as far as I know.
It fell to pieces under you, didn't it?
Well, the original.
Yeah. It all fall to traffic, didn't it? All fall to bits and crumble.
No, it was a good one.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I wish I could say the same for the one that provided it.
There are lots of grocer shops. It became a fashion to put a bike outside. Sort of in homage to open all hours. They appeared everywhere. Some had Granville's bike written on them, all kinds of things. It became a fashion. Perhaps somebody's building them somewhere, and if not, why don't we?
When this comes out afterwards, we'll do it.
Okay.
Because
business venture.
Because it's such a special return to the show, did any of you have any family members come to set and come and watch filming?
Very cool.
No. Not yet. I've got a couple coming to the studio recording. Yeah.
Yes, I must
I'm still amazed I'm there, to be honest with you. I enjoy myself all the time.
James, was there any? Did you feel quite intimidated going into something that was very well established and?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Slightly, yeah. I mean, nervous, definitely. You know, I've watched these two on my TV every day growing up, so that was a bit like, oh god, like, you know. And the show is so big. I do feel like weight on my shoulders. Just got to make sure I try and do the best that I can. But I am in really good hands, so that's all right. and I was made to feel really welcome. And yeah, it's good.
Who was that? It wasn't me.
Hey.
Was it?
I wasn't nervous at all. He sings silly songs about me all day long, so
Yeah.
every word he says.
Yeah, just sing Linda's name whenever I get a little nervous, just burst out in the song. It's a bit ridiculous, really. Yeah.
How does Open All Hours sit for you, David? I mean, amongst all your body of work, is it the one you're the most fond of? How does it compare to all the other shows you've done?
Oh, well, I'm very fortunate in the fact that everything that I do or have done, I've really enjoyed. So there's, yeah, the one that was probably the most effective and affected my career the most was Fools and Horses, certainly. But every part that you take on its merit, and the idea of coming back with Open All Hours was by the same token. I was a bit nervous of it. Nobody committed until we saw the script. So when the discussion I had with Roy Clark was one of an idea, and then we met and discussed it a few times, and then eventually wrote the script. And once you got the script, no, that was it. And you said, no, as an actor, you want to go and do the best you can, but it's mainly about enjoying yourself. If you don't enjoy yourself, other people are not going to enjoy it. I don't think other people are not going to enjoy it. There's some element that comes across when you enjoy what you're doing. If you're just doing it for a job, for how much are you going to get paid me? Are you paying me more? Oh no, that's not enough. Pay me more. That attitude is one that has never attracted me, and so when the idea that the script came up, I just wanted as an actor to get back and be part of the fun again. So very difficult to say, and the bottom line is I've enjoyed really every part that I've ever played. I've been very, very lucky in that respect. And the people I've worked with. You try very hard to make sure you get a team with you, and that includes the prop boys and makeup and wardrobe. That includes everybody, because you rely so heavily on everybody else, and particularly the actors rely on each other.
It's a big machine.
Yeah, and behind the actors come all of the people behind you. You've got to give some of your enjoyment to those people, because if those people sense that you're being a pain in the butt and being difficult, they can be a pain in the butt. So the whole sort of system starts to collapse within itself. There is that possibility, rather. And so we try to make sure that everybody enjoys it. So no, I couldn't tell you there's not one part that I put amongst all others. As a working actor, you enjoy doing all the parts that you play.
The next one's the most enjoyable.
Yes. Oh, that's wonderful. Can I write that down?
I stole it from somebody.
Did
I'll
you?
have a look
Yes.
at it while I don't
Yes.
You know, sometimes, see the trouble I have. You can be somebody that's very successful, but it wasn't, for some reason, so enjoyable. You know, but the easiest way to do anything is with the best people. If you have the best writer and the best costume thing and the best producer, the best director, the best cast, it's easy. It's like sliding, you know. But if you've got any bit of that machine that's not quite right, and it makes life difficult.
I suppose especially with comedy as well, you know, like you've got to have fun. Otherwise, nothing funny ever comes out of a situation that's tense or awkward. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. We did have a bit of a laugh, haven't we? Had a laugh. I've just laughed all.
We have at you,
yeah.
See, I can't.
You can't win.
I can't win.
No. He won't be coming back.
I wanted to ask what your daughter thinks of your body of work, like if she's seen, you know, Only Fools, Open All Hours, maybe Danger Mouse, you know.
The answer to that is that she said a little while ago, which is about 6 or 8 months ago, oh, can we see that show where Daddy's got black hair? Which I think was either this or Fools and Horses, I can't remember. But no, otherwise, she's got a very, very, very good, her feet are very, very much on the ground. I'm just Daddy, and that's it. She doesn't she's not interested, abnormally, she's not interested in seeing me on television. She doesn't, she takes, she's very quiet, she doesn't want to know about anything at school. She's just, which is wonderful. She wants to be one of the gang. Yeah, she wants to be one of the gang at school.
Yeah.
So she's, I'm just, oh, he's going off to do, what's he doing? Oh, I don't know, just something up there. Doncaster, he's gone, I don't know.
My granddaughter said, oh, Nanny's not going to be dressing up as somebody else again, is she? You become an embarrassment after a while.
Yeah, I think that's very good, meaning that I'm glad that her feet are so, like Lynda's saying, that we're treated as the mother and the father or whatever we are, and not as something special, which is as it should be. Which we try to do. At home we're all very, 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 you know, normal, ordinary people with our families. But there is, some people, I can see what you're saying, there is a danger of that. But that's the only time that she's ever really sort of wanted to see something. One with Daddy who's got black hair.
Are there any signs she might follow you into acting?
No. She's not interested in it at all. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Was there a difference in filming, in today's way of filming and 30 years ago? And I was wondering also, did you look at old videos or did you look back just to, particularly to get a flavour of what it should be like and your characters?
I did actually. I just watched one episode out of just to give me a memory of the flavour of it, which was great because it came very fresh to me. And no, I didn't do anything after that. I then looked at the script, and I used the script as my Bible, my guide, because otherwise you can get into an area. No, we didn't do that. No, you didn't do it like that. No, what
never
you
did that.
No. Once you start that, that's forget it. That's the end.
I looked at some photos and laughed all over again.
You did?
I did look at some photos. Yeah.
What was it like seeing yourself 30 years younger? Do you think, wow, he was good?
You see it all the time.
Absolutely.
Black hair?
No, from that black hair then. And I had hair. Yeah, lovely, jubbly. Yeah, no, that's a bit of a, it's a bit of a problem that other people don't have, that you do get this image thrust at you, which is, you know, we're all there, we've all been there, we were all younger once, we're all children. So looking back that far, live for the moment and the future. You can't change the past. The past is a different country, they do things differently there, as we say. So no, I try not to, you know, you obviously you hit on it occasionally and go, God blimey, you have black hair then, and then that's it, we move on. We're of today.
I was in a restaurant once and I looked up at the television in the corner. It was in Portugal, and this girl was chattering away in Portuguese. And I said to my husband, I know that girl. And I kept looking, I do know that girl. My husband said, you silly girl. Got black curly wig on. And she was talking Portuguese, and it was many years before. And that was bizarre. I just knew I knew her. Nice to look back sometimes.
David, Only Fools enjoyed some of the biggest Christmas TV audiences ever. Does that, first of all, does that put pressure on you for this, or has it? And secondly, are you pleased to be back doing Christmas telly where you belong?
Thank you for that. I'm back doing Christmas telly where I belong.
Back in January, put you back in the box in January.
Yes, bring me out next year. You'll never get those audiences, ever. No one ever will. So that's the first thing, because the world is so different. Not only is it so many channels, but you've got internet, you've got phones, you've got millions of ways to reach people. So those days there wasn't very many other ways to reach people, I mean, for their entertainment. So No, of course we would all like to reach more viewers, but we'll never reach those dizzy heights. As long as we get a good audience that enjoy it, then if your audience is off somewhere looking at something else, well, you know.
Pressing the red button.
Pressing the red button.
Yeah, and then you disappear and it's a load of people boxing. I never understood it.
Is that what it's for?
Well, I don't know, that's what happens to me. Press the red button, you can see it again, but it's always somebody doing something ridiculous.
I never pressed the red button.
Oh, you must, it's a
Should
laugh
I?
of its own.
Do that tonight. Go back to the button.
You've got to get hold of the remote first.
Yes. Oh no, they're out tonight, so I'm all right tonight.
You two make a great double act in front of us too. Is there much more interaction between the two of you and this show?
Well, there always is with actors, isn't there?
Yeah.
Actors have to trust each other, because he can make me look like an idiot and I can make him look like an idiot, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to have trust. You have to trust people immediately, which means you have to get on with them immediately. And it's a bonus if they're nice. You know? And that's how you know each other's humour and you can feed off each other, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's all right, he's a nice bloke.
She's all right. I think one of the things that's, Lynda, just to sort of reinforce that, is that when you're in the theatre, when you're on stage, my God, you're going to often need to rely on each other. Because if you drive or you make a slight mistake or something, you need that person to cover for you and help you out, rather than what you don't need. The worst thing you can possibly have is that when you go wrong, which you do sometimes, is to look at the person and they just go. I tell you, you don't fall in love with them. But because we've all been through that experience, we rely on each other for those moments when you're under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, especially when you're working in the theatre. And so, as I say, you rely on someone, because what happens is if you drive, which has happened to us all, you want that person to go, I suppose what you were going to say, and they do it for you. And yes, I was. And they save your life.
Yeah.
So you do learn.
No, you have to trust.
Yeah.
You have to trust.
And then you love them even more.
Yeah.
Would you say you had a bond that because of your history and
Yeah.
and what was it like? Have you worked with each other in between, and what was it like coming back together?
We did a fast for a while, didn't we?
Oh, great, we did.
We did. You run up the little doors and I try not to laugh.
Yes, I've forgotten that.
But actors, because we get on immediately, that you may not see them as you go on do another 8 jobs somewhere else. Then you see them again 5 years later and go, and another thing. And you just carry on. I mean, I haven't seen Stephanie Cole for ages, but I've known her since I was 21. But every few years we meet up again and carry on the same silliness.
Same silliness.
What we do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
She makes me laugh. She does. She is great.
love her to bits.
Yeah.
She's a wicked woman. Lovely.
Yeah.
But we just carried on as though I'd seen her last week.
And the two of you, did you carry on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, we welcome each other and say, "Oh, how are you? Lovely to see you again." And then within 5 minutes, we're shy-hiking and telling her off, and she's telling me off, and
it's fun.
It's fun.
David, you were saying earlier that this programme, when it goes out, will fill a gap in the market. They were looking for this kind of show to
I
put
think
on.
so. I don't know. I can't guarantee that, but I think so.
The question I was going to ask you was, do you think there's anything else really missing from TV at the moment? A particular type of programme or a particular programme?
No. You're treading on dangerous ground here, aren't I? Oh yes. As soon as I open my little peephole, it will be all headlines. It will be. He says. So no.
I think there's something for everybody, to be honest. There is something for everybody. The amount of wonderful documentaries that go on. I mean, if that was all that ever went on television, we ought to be satisfied. And if you don't like one form of humour, then there's another one. Or put on an old programme and watch all the old folks do it. There is something for everybody on television.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
occasionally the audience feels a bit, why don't you listen to us? But then there's always been like that, hasn't it? You know,
Yes.
can't please all the people all the time, but can get a lot of them.
Linda, Nurse Gladys was always a bit of a sex symbol, and you must have had so many fan letters at the time. And I wondered, could you tell us about some of the most bizarre ones, and if you still get fan letters? As
I do
Nurse
still
Gladys?
get fan letters, funny enough. And being a sex symbol is not a career. It's something that has spite of yourself. I mean, I just used to go to work. Now, what is in somebody else's mind is their problem, not mine. No, yes, she was fun. And I used to say everybody likes nurses because they've got a uniform on, and not only if they look nice, they look after you as well. If you fall over, I think that was part of her charm, the uniform. Yes, I still get letters, but I'm an old bird now. I mean, you know.
You're still glamorous. Still
Yes,
wonderful.
I agree.
Yes.
I don't know about that in open all out. Because you wouldn't be like that, would you? You know. No, I still have fun.
Just going back to what we were saying at the beginning about the modern, maybe having a modern flavour, and you saying about Arkwright and how he was always pinching and looking for cheap ways to do things and cutting corners. Isn't that quite relevant for today with the recession and things like that, when people find it?
Yeah, my dad
They'll
owns
find something in it that's like, oh yeah, actually. maybe
my
I
dad
can-
owns a butcher shop and he does it every day. Every day, yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Pinch
it's,
ideas from art.
Yeah. You taught how to run a business.
I'm going to have to say your bloody
Yeah. You got like a house on fire.
Yeah. So all of that bread and nonsense he sticks in his sausages.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's no meat in them.
Anything.
Yeah.
I'm sure I would go in at some point if it got that bad. Yeah. I'm bringing you some down actually.
Yeah, no, you
are.
are.
On the way up there.
You sure?
I'll have a fillet steak, please.
But
But don't you think it's always been relevant to the poorer parts of the United Kingdom that people have been struggling and trying to do the best in the least expensive way? I don't think that's changed very much in some poor
No, in
areas.
Some areas you're quite right. I think that for the middle class or a lot of people, they've become used to the supermarkets and just going and picking it off the shelf.
Not for
Today,
everybody.
no, it's not for everybody, and today it's got much harder. Meaning that idea of going, oh yes, we have that, oh we have those, we have those. Now people are starting to look and see what the price of that is, I think.
You
So
were
it has
saying the other
changed a
day, if
bit.
you buy that little packet of things
Yeah.
to make a stew, you can make a meal for a week.
Yeah.
He makes a stew last a week.
Yes, but I do add to it. I don't just, you know. Yeah. No, we had on the shop front, we had packets of like that, about that big, and they had 2 carrots in it, 3 onions, a quarter of a swede, and a parsnip, right? And it was all wrapped in cling film, and they were all set out. We worked out that that was £1 in the shops. And for £1, you put that, we were talking to the props boys actually, and saying anyone could make a nice stew for a couple of days on that, with a bone from somewhere, you know. Get your stock, love.
Yes.
And
Yes. Mr. Micawber.
yes, but a lot of people, because they don't cook,
They've lost the art,
they've
really.
lost the art of living. Well, I was gonna say
Frugally.
frugally, yes,
Yeah.
not cheaply, but frugally, yeah. But they're so used to, I think, takeaways and stuff. Perhaps it's parents not teaching their young how to cook meals, basic meals. I don't know. But what was interesting, we got about half a dozen of these. And the Hiller brother, I was saying, I put my name on that one. He said, I got my name on that one. Don't worry. So I never did get that.
No, you didn't, did you? No stew for a week now.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
I'm going to have to wrap it up, so can one last question?
Yes, what time is it? Oh, right, yes, time to
So
go.
does the ending leave things open for more?
Open all hours?
Well, who's
Sorry
going
about
to
that,
shut
there
the
was a
shop?
pun there.
Nobody dare close the shop
No.
forever, would they?
I think that what we do is that we're leaving it in such a way that, that I think that's the right way to look at it. If it's never If it's never seen again, it's still there somewhere.
Yeah.
That shop, and it's
Tesco
still
Metro
going.
might finish it off.
Pardon?
Tesco Metro.
Heaven forbid he never. No, there.
It's like Narnia, it's there somewhere.
Yes, exactly. Narnia, that's a very good idea. It's like Narnia. It is somewhere.
Every 100 years it comes round again like brigadoo. Woo! Here we go again.
Right, thank you. Thank you
Thank you very much.
Thank you.